PKN 222. I'm here. I've had a harder time working out in the last 2 days than normal. And the reason is I've done other stuff. I spent the entire day power washing today. So I got up in the morning, hit the bike, fucking do my thing, right? Go. And I don't think I earn MEPS as easily as Kyle. Like the PKA episode was like the demonstrator I felt when I got 3. Taylor got 1 in half the time, so roughly similar.
I think it's probably easier for me to get to gray than it is for you to get to gray, but it's literally easier for you to get to yellow than it is for me because your yellow's lower than mine.
That could be, and I'm kind of a yellow machine now. That I was scared of. Anyway, maybe we'll circle back to that. But I've had less. Yesterday, I had a friend over for 8 hours, 10 hours, something like that, and that was a block of time I couldn't devote to exercising. Today, I power washed. And my legs are already jelly and stuff. And I don't know if you've ever power washed for 4 hours, but afterwards, you did something.
No.
So
it seems
for me,
tiring.
It's shoulders.
Yeah,
well, it depends what you're washing.
Have you ever cleaned your car with one of those things where it's attached to the ceiling, and after maybe 5 minutes with it, you're like, man, my forearm's a little sore just holding this thing forward. I can't imagine 8 hours of that.
It might have been less than 8. It might have been 4 or 6 or something like that. I have to look at my thing. But yeah, and it's just not coming clean. That is really good at removing, say, dirt from a car fender, but it kind of sucks at removing spider webs from the porch. And so just spraying, relocating the spider webs repeatedly. And I had spent a lot of time doing that today. Then I come back afterwards, hit the bike, clean up for the show. And anyway, it's been hard to find the time I need. And Kyle, you have an update on the show?
Yeah, I think we're done here because so I had that stupid hole in my big toe. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just walk differently, and which meant running differently. So then my Achilles tendon started really hurting, and not a sore hurt.
I guess I don't need to walk at all. Then,
what exercise damaged your Achilles?
Running.
I feel very proud of myself around this because I did less of that. I was running in the woods and I had not twisted ankles, but ever your ankle twists and you just
to the
bend
side.
You bend your knee and you save it so you don't get hurt. I had half a dozen of those. And I'm if you keep this up, you're going to lose this game of Russian roulette, Woody. And someone wrote me on Reddit and they're like, Woody, I think that exercise bike is the key to winning this thing. Because if you run, if you do, you need to avoid injury for a month. Carry on.
So I couldn't run anymore. And running was my mainstay.
Bread and butter.
I'm going to say 5 days ago, anytime I would run, it gets easy after half an hour. And I could run. And by run, I mean jog. I mean run until it's yellow, and then I can go into a jog, and I could maintain yellow for 30 minutes of yellow was no problem. And an hour of yellow, I could do, but I didn't want to burn myself. But I would do 5-6 hour sessions of 30 minutes of yellow, 20 minutes of green, 30 minutes of yellow, and I could knock out 750 MEPS and not be dead. So when my Achilles started hurting, I was like, well, I got to try something different. So I got on the I went and got a gym membership, got on the what's it called? Elliptical.
Yeah.
So now every step I have to take on the elliptical, I have to land just right because if I push down on my toe, it's excruciating. If I push down on my heel is this sharp pain.
Oh, that's awful.
In the Achilles, and if I do it just right, it makes a pop, which is scary.
Even just as much as a pop, if you are feeling sharp pains on an elliptical machine, you have beat your body to shit.
But if you do it just right, there's no pain. So Kyle, all you need is 250,000 revolutions a day without any mistakes.
Or just one leg.
But no, it gets worse. It gets worse. The injury gets worse. So now I'm doing this thing where I mentally have to focus on my left foot so that it lands with the weight going sort of on the front right segment of my right foot, right? Behind my pinky toe, essentially, every step. I did that for 3 days, and I wish it counted the revolutions. What I do is I do 2 miles at a time at 6 miles an hour or something. I mess with resistance, so it's hard to gauge work.
Yeah.
But like I do either 30 minutes of yellow or an hour of yellow, and then I would try to get on the treadmill and like at 2 miles per hour walk until green was gone, right? Which after
like
an hour of yellow, I try to cool down and like sap up as much easy green as I could and then get back on it. Now, from I don't know what you call your ring toe, but you know, the one next to your pinky toe, your ring toe.
That is your dinky toe.
From that toe on my right foot to my right ankle, now that hurts real bad, like a sharp pain. It hurts like a sprained ankle.
Wait, all the way from there to your ankle? Like
yes,
a line?
Yes. Now that
there are a ton of little bones in your feet, and I bet you maybe not broken them, but you've definitely exacerbated something, or like just forcing yourself to go with that much like swelling just from the work.
I went to a physical, not a physical therapist, but got a sports massage today, and she's like, "You've got a lot of fluid build up here. Do you want me to?" And she touches it, and I go, "Ah!" And she's like, all right. Well, are you walking on this? And I'm like, "Well, I limp when I walk, but I've been trying to use the elliptical. I've got this ankle brace from Walmart." And she's like, no. So, but I'm like, yeah, I think I'm done here. So last night, like at 10 p.m. Well, let's go back, I guess, 24 hours. Like 24 hours ago, the last workout when I ended it, I want to say I was like 2,200 points ahead or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to sleep, and Woody and I worked through yesterday. And at the end of the day, I think Woody had gotten maybe 400 points closer. He had caught up on me, and he was like within 17 or 1,800, like 1,780.
1,200.
Well, this is like 1,200 by the end of last night for sure.
Well, I think your night ends a different time than mine.
It does,
because my night ends at midnight. Like I've been using calendar days, and I'm just saying. And can I interrupt and tell like my perspective of this?
I'm almost done.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm almost done. So essentially, last night at like 11 p.m., I'm laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and it's just hurting. It hurts all the time now. Like it hurts not when I'm walking, because if I walk, it really hurts. I limp. But when I just sit, it hurts. And I've iced it for long periods of time with like a gel icing thing. And I would get out of my ice bath, and sometimes I would come back to the ice bath and just put my foot in it for a while. Not helping. And then I see you start working out again at 11 p.m. I'm like, well, I can't not work out. I got to go. So I suit back up, even though I've just showered and like been in the bed for an hour, and I go back, and it hurts so bad at one point on the elliptical that I made an audible kind of like noise, and the guy next to me went, huh? And I was like, I'm good. And so I went home, and then Woody worked all night and got a ton of MEPs. And so I talked to Taylor and Chiz today, and I'm like, I don't think I can continue. I don't think I should continue. And I certainly can't keep up with Woody's pace, because Woody's killing it. He really is. Like if Woody were getting 1,000 MEPs a day, I'd be like, maybe I can get on the lat machine and like do pull downs. Maybe I can get one of those like hand rolling things. Maybe I can do a ton of sit-ups and do 1,000 a day. But Woody's doing.
It would be very. I've tried to earn more MEPs with upper body. I'm shit at it. Now I'm kind of built really good.
It's hard.
I have it's hard, and it's hard for Taylor apparently. The way I'm like, my upper body is really not that impressive, but my lower body actually is pretty good, like better than average. And it's just where my MEPs are coming from.
Well, like the thing with the weightlifting is like when Kyle's on the elliptical, or when you're in the woods jogging and you get to 80, like that stays there for a while, that cardio 80. Whereas if I get to 80 on, dips or something, like within 15 seconds, like I'll look over at the monitor and be like, 85, 83, no, 81, 75, 69, no, how? Like I'm still tired. So like you just don't get the credit.
I think what it is, and I'm no muscle scientist, but I think it's about the total mass of muscle that's being engaged for any given exercise.
Like the amount of blood needed to
yes,
fill it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. There's no way you're gonna kill a lot of cardio working your traps, which are these things here. Like
your biggest muscles are your butt, your quads, your hamstrings, your legs, essentially, like your entire lower body. And so like jogging, especially if you've got like your arms and your shoulders into like pumping. I found that like pumping your arms versus not pumping your arms is a big deal. Like on a treadmill or jogging or something like that. Like
on a bike, you feel like a fool.
Yeah, I do that. If it dips into the green, I'll be like, get it up.
Yeah. So essentially, I talked to Taylor today, and I talked to Chiz today, and Chiz agrees that like there's no way he's going to catch Taylor. There's no way Taylor's going to catch me, and there's no way that I can maintain any sort semblance of a lead on you, Woody. So that there's no point in going through this any farther.
I am one workout away from passing Kyle.
You are.
I was going to do it tonight. On the scoreboard right now, I'm down by 200, but I have about 200. Is it say 400?
Yeah, I think Kyle has 16,200 and you have like 15,800 or something.
No,
right?
You're out of date. On the
like
scoreboard, I am behind by 100 and less than 200. Sorry, my math sucks. About 150. Yep. So
plus 246.
That's where I was headed to. But I also got 246 before the competition started as I learned how to earn MIPS. So I can bust out a 400
in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours. He's a hard 2 hour workout away. And that's essentially what I've been looking down the barrel
I'm going to do it. You
should.
I'm going to get it done. Yeah. I might wait till tomorrow if you're going to give me a night off.
Yeah. I might wait till tomorrow. Crank it out over the course of the next year for all I care. You know what I mean?
But can I tell you what's been brewing in my head?
Let me just and like the more I think about it, I was like, well, maybe I should just keep grinding this thing and let the cards fall where they're going to fall throughout the month. But then the other thing is this legal thing that I'm staring down the barrel at. I think it's gonna go my way. But it's not a sure thing. And I was telling Chiz, I was like, I might have to go to some kind of a halfway house. I might get sentenced to that. I might have to go to jail for a little while. I really don't want to spend like what could essentially be like some of my last free time for a little bit
on the elliptical, hurting yourself.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of comical, but like to me,
no, it's really not. When you I'm okay with you. When you phrased it like that to me, I was like, okay, I totally get it now. I totally like that. It's not silly. This is a real thing that's happening in your life, and like it makes sense. And like anyone who would jump in and say not all of us tried or didn't give 100% effort, that's ridiculous. Like Kyle didn't put super glue on his feet for fun. Like he's not like screaming and yelping on the elliptical like a maniac at 4 a.m. for fun. Like Chiz isn't sitting there comatose because it's fun. Like Woody isn't on his bike for 4 hours like goddamn a Tour de France competitor. Like, because it's fun. Like, I'm not coming home from obligations and going, hell yeah, bike time! Like,
I didn't see anyone accuse people of not giving it their all.
Oh, absolutely they did.
I think a lot of people were, but like,
I've been accused of snorting Adderall. I've been accused of like seriously, like people laying out the case. That's why my nose is bleeding. My nose is bleeding because I'm intaking so much more air than I normally do.
It's turned out to like 63 degrees in your place.
Right. I've been dying to give my perspective for 13 minutes. Yeah. This is where we are. So a week ago, Kyle was winning. And in the first week, Kyle outdid me every day, right? And I had this mindset, like I just need to stay within striking distance. For the second week, and I should say, Kyle was like, hey, look, I'm not going to quit. But, if you slow down, I can slow down. I will not give you a hard time about taking second, right? I will give this, not give, but like, hey, like
bit of a concession.
We're murdering ourselves. And, there's a restful, comfortable second that you can get. And there's honor in second. And I keep thinking about Joe Namath. Right? Joe Namath. Dude, he was a football player. He played for the Jets in like the 60s before I was born.
I wish you said Ricky Bobby. I wish you said Ricky Bobby so much. He played in the AFL. Like the NFL and AFL weren't even together, I think. I'm not really sure. And everyone thought he was going to lose. Everybody thought he was going to lose. And they just keep like asking him all week, like, are you going to get your ass kicked? How bad are you going to get clobbered? Except his own team. His own team and his own coaches have burned in his head that he's actually going to flip and win this thing. And, just one more time, they're like, hey, how's it going to feel to get your butt kicked on Sunday? And he goes, what? Like, and he's like, these people don't know. We're going to win this. I guarantee it. And I'm like, yeah, no one picked me. These people don't know who the level of determination. I will work 20 hours a day at this fucking thing if that's what it takes to win. I've done this before in a lot of different aspects in life. And when I put my mind to something,
it is hard to take it from me. There's 12 fucking 13 years of advanced schooling. No quit. I've had semesters of straight Fs. All Fs. And they're like academic probation.
Fs.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is not the end of my education. I will come back next semester. I will get off probation and I will go because like, quitting is not a thing that we do here. And I'm like, this week, every day I win. And I don't know if I did win every single day. Because
you won 2 days, but look, you won them well.
Well, okay, wait.
big
On the
wins.
day thing, Kyle has a different time scale,
I
right?
do.
So I want to go midnight to midnight and beat that. And I'll go midnight to midnight and in like what I think is beat Kyle handily. And then he has this 4 a.m. 900 MEP workout. And I'm like, well, that counts towards tomorrow. That's not today. So
Yeah.
I think I may have won more than 2 days on my grading
For
scale.
sure. Yeah, the way I do it, just like to clarify, like because I had to completely alter my sleep schedule to do 3-a-days to your 2-a-days because I can't go for 4 hours at a time on yellow. So what I would do is essentially I would sleep from 8 a.m. to like 1 or 2 a.m. and I would sleep 3 to 4 hours at a time, 3 times a day, which can't be healthy. I know it's not healthy. I know you're supposed to sleep 8 hours and that's an important thing. But I felt like it was necessary. Like it wasn't about, none of this is healthy. So I just felt like it was necessary. So whenever I woke up, like those 3 times per day, I'd look at what you had done and I would make that my goal. And sometimes I was relieved. Sometimes it was 500 MEPs, which is no joke. If Rogan did not average 500 through his month a day, not even close.
He averaged like 350.
He averaged 350. Woody's workouts, when he would only do 500, I'd be like, whew, about to gain some ground here. All right, we're going to go to bed with 600. So, like,
and you need to stress the MEP difference for people who are just like seeing our scores and not the Rogan scores. Like when you see like, oh, Kyle only did 500 today, like that's a
people
good day. Who use this app are not going for 500 a day.
No.
Like even Rogan and those guys were like 500 a day. That's a lot in a day. And for a third of a day, Kyle is saying, oh, thank God, only 500.
I limped my way today to about 300, if you count like what rolled over midnight last night, and today me just like limping around and shit. But essentially, yeah, if from midnight to midnight, I'm sure you probably outworked me. There was one day,
a couple of times, yeah. So it was my. I don't know if how many midnights I got. It's hard to keep the score, but I was like, I want to gain on him, and I gained on him all week, and it's a month-long competition. Or originally it was a month-long competition, and I was just like, going to do this, whatever it takes, and I just like, yeah.
I
and also,
I don't know if you came up with that quote where you're like, if you wanted it to be easy, you shouldn't have invited me.
That
was
just
like
me,
right when you had like surged ahead, and I loved that. I was like, fuck yeah.
There was
like,
one. I'm glad that you like that. Mine was like, I would take Kyle's MEPs very personally, right? Like, yeah. Like
Kyle was giving them personally. Fuck Woody.
Yeah. Oh, they were coming back personally too. Because I mean, like Kyle did 927 MEPs. That fucker is trying to break me.
Before you woke up, I'd do like Woody would be asleep, and I'd crank out 927, and I'd be like, he'll wake up and he'll see 927. He went to bed with a lead. Or he went to bed having like gained a little on me, and he wakes up and he's 600 more behind. I was like, how much longer can he take this?
For 3 more weeks or 2, I guess at this point. I'd wake up, I'd be like 927 MEPs. Does he think he's demoralizing me? I am only getting pissed off. There was one tweet, my favorite one was like, look what Kyle just did. I'm in a fighting mood. Hold my beer. And I don't even, of course, there's no beer involved, but it's an expression. And I'm like, yeah, I am in a fucking fighting mood right now. We're gonna rack up some MEPs. And
you had a 1200 MEP workout or something.
Yeah.
By
the way, I can do 500 MEPs. 500 MEPs is a 2-hour bike ride. I can do a 2-hour bike ride twice a day at this point, maybe 3.
I think you could do 3. That's the other thing. I think Woody's getting stronger. Like
I am not breaking down. My legs are kind of like jelly. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. My legs are kind of jelly, but whatever, 20 minutes into the workout, I forget about that and just go. My back is a little sore. When I was running and doing more like skateboarding and running and stuff, that muscle next to my shin bone, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Like that was getting kind of like it doesn't.
You're getting like shin splints.
Is that what that's called? A shin splint?
That's what my dad called it, but I thought he was wrong. He called it that as well, but I thought he was wrong. But it's the muscle that's on the outside of your shin that runs sort of knee to ankle.
Yeah, in the front.
That's the muscle responsible, I believe, for picking the front of your foot up.
I was trying to get a little more info about shin splints, and WebMD's symptoms just says the main symptom is pain in the leg.
WebMD says you have cancer. But yeah, at this point, I'm feeling. I think I can get more MEPS the last week than I have this week. I'm like. The other thing I didn't lay out was Kyle has legal things that are going to take his time, right? So I was like, if that ends Kyle's participation, I need this week to make it clear that my victory was inevitable, right? It needs to, like, I want this week to be a statement that says, like, Woody didn't win because Kyle stopped playing. Like, that was, dude, I have a lot of very personal and not all positive thoughts towards the other competitors regarding this thing. and by the way, the most negative thoughts are reserved for me. Just look at yourself in the mirror.
No, that's funny to imagine you like looking at the scoreboard being like, what's Taylor planning?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've got 30,000 maps I'm waiting to upload. That's what I did a few days ago when I had my best day ever at 750. Where I saw it and I was like, I'm in striking distance of Chiz. This is the day where I not only catch Chiz, but I put 600 points on him. And like, I finished that workout, I got like a few hundred points ahead, and I was like, he's planning something. He hasn't put up numbers in a bit. Like, he's this duplicitous little fuck. He's trying to sneak up on me. The last like 3 mornings, I'll like wake up and be like, still, okay, Chiz, touche for you not uploading. But I'm really proud that I caught up and passed Chiz. I didn't think I was going to be able to.
That's very cool. Proud thing is coming, but I have 2 pair of friends, right? Both of them are really fit. They don't live near me, but I talk to them all the time on Facebook Messenger, and they kept the first week like having me pull back. They're like, Woody, play the long game. You know, you got to be more strategic in this thing. You can't break yourself in the first week. And had they not told me to do that, I don't know that I would have been comfortable losing to Kyle the first week like I did. But in the second week, I feel like they gave me good advice. So
it's for me. The wheels fell off the bus two or maybe 2 nights ago, because like even though I was hurting, I felt like I had a comfortable lead. Like I had like I don't think you've ever. I had your best crazy days worth of points as a lead. Like I had like 2,200 when I went to bed. Again, we're on different schedules, but like when you wake up, you're 2,200 behind or something like that. And I was like, I could actually take today off, and there's no way he can catch me. Like because I remember how sore you were after that day. That was the day when you were like knocking drinks off tables and hitting weights.
Yeah, I do remember that.
and you did like 400 MEPs the next day. I
think I did 49 the next day.
Yeah,
I was giving you some.
Thanks. Okay.
But then just not healing. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And so I feel bad because I wanted to at least make this a thing, you know. But then the more I think about it, the less it's harder to even get motivated about it and like try to hurt myself. Like I would probably like I said, do some sort of upper body thing if you weren't capable of doing those crazy long bike rides. Like if you were on I think if it weren't for that bike, like I would probably be able to hold my own with like upper body or like crawling.
I resisted buying that bike. Hope one of them, like, you know who really uses an exercise bike? It's just going to be for hanging furniture. Or I'm sorry, hanging laundry.
Yeah. And then, but then like there's no punishments. And for me
early on, it rained for a week. I discovered the beauty of the bike. Sorry,
it was
I
huge.
keep interrupting.
But then, like, there's no punishments. And for me in the beginning, like, as we started this thing, the punishments were my biggest thing. It wasn't about winning as much as it was about not losing. Like, I was so scared of that.
I hated that portion of the competition.
I was so scared to eat that chip or to do. I don't remember what the other proposed punishments were, but we removed the punishments essentially on like day 4 or something like that. And then and we moved the financial punishments on like day -2 or something like that. And so it's like, well, even if I win this thing, the belt's kind of just coming out of my pocket to a certain extent. And I was like, I already have some trophies that are in storage. I've got my gold play button and a bunch of other crap, and it's like that sits in storage. I'm not a big decorator. I'm a big fan of the white wall look. And so it's just I can't in good conscience lip my way into a court proceeding in a couple of weeks ago and potentially
the way you and Chiz are describing your injuries, like if you feel quad soreness from being on a bike for 2 hours, push through it. You can push through soreness. Like, it's easy to push through soreness after about 10-15 minutes.
For sure.
I almost forgot that was true.
If you're on sharp pain, like if you're on a goddamn elliptical and you're getting sharp foot pain, that's not like push through it kind of injury. That's like you're going to exacerbate something serious and have to use crutches for, like, it's not like, I get it's a competition and it's fun. You have to push yourself, but that's not the kind of thing you push yourself through. Especially Chiz talking about his sharp foot pain where he's like having to like lean on furniture and shit to like amble around. Like, that's not. No, this went from like getting healthy to like now you're getting actively unhealthier by having to push yourself so hard.
And I don't know how we could have done the competition differently to make it like not what this has become. Like it felt like somehow with the Rogan thing that like it didn't become this. And I'm not.
You mean two separate races? Is that
no?
What they became?
I mean just going so crazy hard. It seemed like none of them were just into doing that. Like, and people have suggested, make it only 5 hours a day. Well, if you do that, then we're all going to be shooting for 5 hours of yellow. And Chiz just can't do that. Like not shitting on Chiz, but he can't. I don't think I can do it. I could definitely do 2 hours of yellow, but it's hard. Woody can do 4 hours of yellow, seemingly without
working my way. I don't know. I was like, I've got these strategies, right? By the way, Kyle, you're called the Prince of Darkness in my head. If I'm with
not just yours,
King. Yeah.
If I'm losing to the Prince of Darkness by like 1,500 meps, you better fucking believe I've got a 3,500 mep day in me. I know I can do this. Like that's as close as I need to be. I will ride that goddamn bike until I fall off of it. And Joe's talking about setting off smoke. I've got the door open. I've got a ceiling fan immediately above me. I don't know where.
I don't believe him.
Joe being Joe Rogan in this. Like it wasn't as crazy as he made it out to be in my head. But,
exactly. Going into it, it wasn't. But after doing it, it is. Like, it's impossible that he's doing that because, like, I've been on that rowing machine with a smoke detector above me with the idea that, let's see if it's even, close that door. And I swear, like, especially that first night, the first night I might have done, like, I don't remember what it was, frankly, but it was between 6 and 1,000 meps or something like that. Mm-hmm. And sweat's dripping. It won't evaporate off of me anymore. And I'm just going. And I was in a really good zone with that thing. I can't do the rowing machine now. Every time I push, it stretches the Achilles tendon. It's gruesome. But like, I never got to that point at all. I think that's a fabrication. I think that's Joe Rogan.
It totally is. Like, there's no way that you first of all, fire alarms don't go off because of
vapor?
How sweaty you are. Like that, it's just not. That would be a huge design flaw. Can you imagine that? Every NBA game, it's like, all right, got to take another fucking quarter two break because the fire alarms went off. I can't believe we're watching this on 4K TV and we can't figure this out, people. Like, no, that's nonsense. There was something wrong happened with his system or that gym system. Yeah.
The internet says it can happen.
I don't believe them.
Okay.
I selectively choose everything.
If you had 10 Joe Rogans, I believe you had 10 sweaty Joe Rogans working hard, maybe. But just the idea that one Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Here's my counter argument. I believe there's been a smoke alarm in like every bathroom I've ever had, and my shower never set it off.
Ah, yeah, that does it right there. no human being is sweating as much as a shower it makes steam.
Yeah. There's just no way.
Like, have you ever been like working out super hard and stepped out into a very cold exterior and you see steam come off of yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it,
sure.
And if you haven't, we've all seen it in a movie.
Yeah.
Know?
Like bald guys in particular, it comes off their heads.
Yeah,
that was the cool thing playing hockey. It's like you
mm-hmm.
take your glove off out there, and he just looks like you're on fire.
What did Gimli say? Just a wisp of vapor, something like that. Like just
wisp of smoke.
Yeah, wisp of smoke. Like it's not enough to set anything off for sure.
Well, I am totally fine with stopping because there's no way for me to win, and I'm at a point now where, like, at first the biking sucked, and as much as I tried in the first week to be like, I'm going to keep this as something I do now after this competition. Like in my back of my head, I was like, are you really though? This sucks. Like this really sucks. But then I changed it up so that now I'm not doing like an hour of straight biking, but I do like my whole lifting regimen. And then at the end, I do some like, medium high intensity biking for like 10, 15 minutes after each set. And so I'm getting like some cardio in there, and that adds up to like 75 minutes of biking by the end. And so
how many points do you have?
6,000-ish.
Yeah, so there's not even, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it'd be a tall task for you with your schedule to catch me, right? Like,
no way.
Because even like limping around, I'll get 100, 200 meps a day or something like that, I think.
More? You got 250 during a podcast. Like, I believe Kyle...
That's a real outlier. I wore it today, and look at my numbers today. Like look at my upload today.
Did you upload today?
I wore it like going to the massage thing. I wore it.
You're all gray. You got 30 meps today.
As far as those podcast points are concerned, like if you do look at Kyle's actual workouts, there are huge spans where if you're wearing it for like 8 hours, where you're earning 6 points, where you don't do anything for hours and hours.
Today's
Kyle.
a better representation of like what happens when I just wear it doing nothing. Like if I'm in the car, it's gray. When I'm at my lawyer's office today, it's gray. When I'm at my pre-trial probation officer's office pissing in a cup, it probably got a little blue. got a little blue for a second there because I'm like, what's in those supplements?
I had Prince of Darkness in my head today as I'm power washing, right? Power wash for hours and hours and hours. It was like 22 meps. And I'm like, Kyle would have had many more meps than 22 for power washing. Maybe, right? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. What matters is I need to get 500 more meps.
Yeah.
And then
what if this was all a con? And like you went to bed tonight and I uploaded like 1,800 meps and then went on a tear. How mad at me would you be?
I would love that. That would be some seriously devious shit.
If you think that would be that would. I was thinking today about Prince of Darkness, of course, and I'm like I'm lacing my boots on, and I'm like, when he offered me second place, the mistake he made was when he said he wasn't going to quit. Like when he doesn't realize I'm winning this thing. Like he doesn't. Like he should have offered me second.
Thought process are motivational posters, like with cats climbing up on the basketball net and shit, where it's like,
hang in there, girl.
Yeah, it was just like I'm lacing up my boots, like I'm not being acknowledged as the fucking victor in this thing. Like he thinks that because what you said, because I'm not gonna stop, and I'm like, yeah. You don't have to. Like week 2, Woody is making a statement. Like I said, because I thought that I don't know if it's this week or next week, but you've got your time-consuming attorney stuff coming up.
It's getting worse and worse by the day. Like today was. So the problem is a lot of the driving, right? Because I don't.
Did you do a thing today having to do with the attorney?
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of it is the driving. Like I have to drive an hour with no traffic, an hour. But then, like, these meetings often end up around rush hour. So it's just like you're sitting there for 2 hours. It's just so to meet with my lawyer for what's usually an hour, I drive an hour and a half, sit there for an hour, drive back. Sometimes it's 2.5 hours back. And it's like, well, that was my day. That was my day. Yeah. And then today, especially because, like, I had the massage is obviously something I could have skipped, but I felt like I needed someone to look at this ankle. And it had been scheduled for a week. Like I get one every Tuesday, and then the parole officer, you don't show up to see her. There's some real problems. So like, and that's in a completely different fucking direction than the lawyer. So like, Today was mostly driving.
Yeah,
Right? Just
mine wasn't that inactive, but I had I feel like I had the same challenges, and these are self-imposed. But today, Jackie was like, "I need some Woody time." This was a few days ago, and what she meant was, she's got guy things around the house that she needs done. I spent a whole day, 2 days actually, cleaning the garage, the shed, and getting things out of the attic. And in my head again, I'm like, I bet Kyle will be getting a lot more MEPs for this than I am, but because it wasn't worth much for me, but it was really time consuming. Yesterday, totally self-imposed, but my friend came over. His paramotor was broken. We fixed it. We did a live stream. And after the live stream, we flew around. Paramotoring is not worth a lot of MEPs. And that was all day. And today was pressure washing. And all these things are weak MEP activities. It would be easier on me if I could just devote all my time to like resting or cycling. But, whatever. I just have 500 more MEPs. I might bust that out tonight. I might give myself a break. I don't know, but
up to you. You know, we're doing the show tomorrow, obviously because of Thanksgiving.
So
I think Chiz will come on, and we can get some of his perspectives of like the torture that he's been through.
Oh, I'd love Chiz to come. I want you two to trade your war stories on PK of how unpleasant this has been, because I like in the beginning. Like, if you go back and check, like, my whole thing was, like, you guys fucking wait until the soreness kicks in because you're going so intense. Like, wait. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting it to be soreness. I didn't realize they were pushing themselves through literal injuries where they're like, well, you know, I'm limping all around and my feet hurt and I almost cried at the gym this morning and I'm really sad and I might go to jail.
This is going to require a lot of super glue.
I don't really want to do this anymore. This sucks. Like I would.
Yeah, the soreness doesn't bother me anymore. Woody's absolutely right. Like first of all, the ice baths really do help a bunch. Like if by gauging like past, I remember we played paintball one year, and like I hadn't worked at it all prior to the thing. I went into it really out of shape. And the first day I went really hard. I must have played for 7 hours and it's a lot of squatting and jogging and then sprinting just all day with all that weight. And the next day, I've never been that sore in my entire life. I didn't get anywhere near that sore and like stiff like during this competition. I think the ice baths legitimately help. The muscle roller legitimately helped. The anti-inflammatory stuff I was taking definitely helped. Because like even right now, like I'm like squeezing my like the front of my legs or whatever, like my is it quads? Mm-hmm. Yeah, not hamstrings, on the front of your leg.
It's
they're
quads.
Not and you know they're not sore. My calves are sore, but I would say like a 4 out of 10, a 5 out of 10. I'm physically able to keep going. It's just my fucking foot hurts.
Well, I mean, you're not physically capable of continuing.
No.
Like your foot's fucked.
He's
like
emotionally capable of keep going.
Oh, I'm definitely emotionally capable. I like last night when I saw you going, I was like, let's go to the gym and let's just let's just work through the night. Because that's what I did that other night when like you had
when
that
you got 927 or something.
No, when you got it might be, that might be what you're referring to, but I'm thinking specifically of the night when you got like you did 956 in the morning and I helped that girl move and only got like 700 and you 256 up on me. And then that night, you went for like 1,220, and I was like, yeah. well, I just won't sleep, and I went to like 1,320 or something like that in one workout, and it was gruesome. And I was like, I'll do that again. I'll take everything that he's done, and I'll X that out tonight. And that's when I yelped on the machine last night, and fucking went home after maybe 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
When I started seeing the scores you guys were posting early on, like a good part of me was like, thank God you are legitimately too busy to compete with these two, because even if you weren't, I did not anticipate these kind of numbers going up. Like day 4 when Woody discovered the fact that he, wasted his life doing internet stuff when he could have been the next fucking Armstrong over there in France. Sorry, Woody, you missed your calling.
When you realized that,
I was like, oh shit, you used to compete in cycling, but were you on a JV team?
No, I could have been. No, I worked out with Cat 2 and Cat 3 cyclists, and in training, I was actually right there, like amongst the best when it came to just like working out. But it turns out racing's different than training, and there's a lot of skill involved in like being elbow to elbow, and like when you're working with a pack that's like on your team, I was good at that. When you have to like play freaking cycling,
it's a lot of like maneuvering and like little subtle
people
movements
are
and
playing
shit.
chicken. Like they want you in the wrong spot, so they'll get in front and they'll push you over. And maybe a better like cyclist would push back or resist that or whatever. Like I had a race where. So where you really want to be in like the whole peloton thing is like second, right? You don't want to be the guy, they call it breaking the wind, right up front. You want to be like one mark from the back. And I had a race where the whole fucking thing, I was just dominating it, right? Second, like right where you want to be. And then with like 1.5 laps left to go, I'm like, I am in position to beat every one of these fuckers. And I was not. Like they literally ran me off the road. I bunny hopped the curb, went through the grass and the trees, and got nearly last. Like that's how my cycling went. I just wasn't like
the bike you were on. Was it one of those bikes that has the fixed gear, or was it so you're able to stop pedaling? Have you seen that GIF or that Reddit clip
where he lays on his belly?
Yes.
Yes, that's so cool. So like for people who haven't seen it, essentially like I think most people have been on a bicycle before. You're aware that you can stop pedaling on like almost every bike that exists, and the wheels still turn independently of that. That allows you to rest your legs, right? Well, he's racing in some sort of class or whatever where it's a fixed gear. So
There's matter like a penny what, farthing.
no matter what, like the pedals spin with the wheel. I'm sure there's a gear, a ratio built in. But nonetheless, they always spin at that ratio.
Is that what a fixed gear bike is?
Yeah, they call it a fixie.
So what he does as they're going downhill, all the other bikers have to pedal really fast, but you can't pedal as fast as the bike could potentially coast because of the downhill. So he gets on his belly, more like his high crotch on the seat, and allows the pedals to just go into hyper mode. And he like surfs past everyone. And then the most skillful
looks like
part
Superman
is
holding the handlebars.
And then the most skillful part is when he remounts the bike, because he puts his feet on either side of the back tire, puts some drag on it to slow it a bit, and then somehow gets his feet into the pedals as they're spinning at like this rapid pace and keeps going.
Yeah, he has to like air pedal to match the speed and then goes. I've never rode a
I would guaranteed shatter my face if I tried anything even akin to. I tried standing on a skateboard once and almost hurt myself.
If you go really fast on it, like I've gone, I don't know, I think I went 54 miles an hour on a bike, quickest I've ever gone, downhill of course, and it gets like speed wobbly and stuff. You have to hold the frame with your knees, and maybe their bikes are better than mine. But
if you come off at 54, that's probably not a common thing, but that's got to be some serious injuries.
I did it at 34 once. I was just on this bicycle tour, and I'm going downhill 34.5 miles an hour. I remember it like I'll never forget it. And there's this like really sharp turn, but I thought I had everything under control. Like I can do this. And then as I got closer, I see it's all sandy and there's like no traction there. So what I should have done, what a better cyclist would have done, is just try it anyway. What I did is deer in the headlights, just lock up the brakes and go straight. And I went straight, and then next to the road, like where like if you'd gone straight through this hairpin, there was a big ditch, and then on the other side of it, a barbed wire fence. And I drill my head into the far side of the ditch, and my legs come up and over and hit the fence. I am a little concussed. I have a helmet on.
You did a total full body flip?
That's perfect. Yes, that's what happened. And I'm a little concussed and confused as to how this went down. People are asking me questions, and I'm not answering them right, like what day it is or what state I'm in. And my leg is fucked. I've got 2 like deep scars in it, and one of them has like an extra spot because there was a barb there. And they took me to a hospital in West Virginia. And they sewed me up very poorly. The stitches were like cosmetic at best. They didn't close the wound. It turned out I had some intern who didn't know what the heck he was doing. The anesthesia wore off during it.
They let an intern sew you up?
Yeah. Like
I've had that same experience on a much smaller cut. But I was a kid, and it was on my hand, and my mom was so upset. She's like, "That looks terrible." Yeah. I'm like, "Does it?"
Yeah. So and like my home doctor saw it, and he's like, "Let's see how they do this in West Virginia." And he's like, "Oh, Yeah, I'd have liked to seen them a little bit tighter, maybe. The cut was big enough that I now know they should have done some internal ones and some external ones. But instead, they just applied stitches like across the open wound. They didn't close it at all. But I was pretty psyched because, one, I thought it was tough. I don't know. It was like 17 or something. Mm-hmm. And I got to put my leg up at school for the next week. Like, which is, so I'm like, in class thinking I'm cool. You guys can't see, but my leg is up. And everyone else is sitting like a normal person. But it probably wasn't cool at all. I was just an idiot.
Yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds awful.
But yeah, the bike turned out to be my best way of earning MEPs.
For sure. Yeah, I can't bike at all. Like even early on, like my quads burn out so fast. Like not to the point of like hurting a little either.
Quads.
Yeah. That's just I don't have strong legs at all.
The quads are the muscle I feel like I can beat to shit and they'll be okay for the most part the next day. Like
the running was
blowing my quads out.
I've got that on my lats a bit too.
The running was definitely the trick for me. If I could have kept running, I feel like I could have kept pace with this thing. But as soon as the running went and I had to go to that machine, like the machine's soul killing for one thing. At least with running, like it's nice to run outside and see people and they see you running every day and they start, hey, yeah, hey.
So you didn't just have a burning hatred for all your competitors the entire time? Because that really works for me.
I had a lot the whole time.
Dark Lord.
I was the total opposite. I had a huge amount of admiration for first of all, the fact that you two were dominating in the way you did. Like I wasn't like, I knew there was no chance I was going to catch either of you or even compete, but like that was really fucking impressive how hard you both went. Chiz, I was impressed with, even though the number wasn't as high, because he's working through a lot of hurdles that the others of us aren't facing. Like I think we all did a pretty fucking good job.
I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, no one here should be embarrassed of their performance. Like that's really cool.
And I'm keeping this biking shit. I'm keeping the biking a part of my workout. I'm going to do it for real. Or maybe not even biking. This guy. This is so much fun.
Really?
I had no idea that you could get your heart rate that high. Well, I don't know anything about boxing, and so I had to basically look up like YouTube videos, like boxing workouts, and then I realized like this girl doesn't seem like she's throwing punches right. So then I had to go watch other videos of boxers who are like, you don't want to do this, you want to do that, and I was like, okay, I can try and figure this out.
I like that Taylor's first instinct was like, if I'm going to learn about fighting, I might as well learn it from hot chicks in yoga pants.
Well, when you type boxing workout, a lot of that comes up. But then you look, and I'm like, she's not covering her face at all. Like, there's no competitor here. But this thing, I'm loving it. Like, it's a lot of fun to just, like, beat and hit it as hard as you can, knock it over. Like, but...
Is it abrasive? Does it hurt do you wrap your hands? Or if not, do you wear gloves?
I bought 16-ounce gloves to use because like people were like, you want to not buy the light UFC ones, like you want to be forcing yourself to carry a little more weight. Like it doesn't seem like a lot, it's only a few ounces, but trust me, after 10 minutes of that, you're going to notice those extra, that extra pound almost. So I'm glad to have found this kind of cardio. This is a lot of fun. It actually makes me want to learn more about boxing.
I had 12-ounce Muay Thai gloves, which looked like boxing gloves, and I had used those for a while. And then when I got to a boxing gym, I was like, Joe Lozon, what do I buy? Like, I have these already. And he says, Woody, don't be that guy that shows up with 12-ounce gloves when everyone else has 16. I was like, oh, I didn't even know I was being that guy. But I thought it was okay. But
it looked cool.
I didn't even know that was
yeah, I didn't even know that was but yeah, so I
got like the Cambodian flag emblazoned on them or something cool.
Yeah, so you need 16-ounce gloves if you want to train with other people. In boxing.
Yeah, I as soon as I can, I'm probably gonna run a little bit more. Because like in the past, I'd never ran more than, I don't know, like continuously more than a mile or so. Like I would always stop and then run another mile or something like that. And I was gonna run really long. There was a lot of stopping, but like Woody says, like you sort of like get to this point where like it stops hurting and you. I don't want to say go numb because that sounds like you're having a medical issue. But I think that's what's supposed to happen.
Mentally numb, like you stop paying attention to you.
No, I mean physically numb. Like I stop. Okay. I literally start not being able to feel my legs anymore, and so the pain doesn't bother me.
And not the pain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You feel yourself pushing into it, and then like you get off the bike or whatever, and you take like the first 3 steps, like an idiot, like a toddler, like walking, and then it starts to hurt again.
Yeah.
But as long as you're doing it, it's not too bad.
I'm definitely going to run some more because I've lost like a dozen pounds or something.
Were you impressed with your fitness level? Like going into it, were you like, I'm going to have to put in, 12-hour workouts. And then when you realized, oh shit, I can maintain yellow for 2 hours on this rower or whatever it is. Were you pleasantly surprised? That's how I felt.
I definitely could do that on the rower at first, but like it was burning out the muscles in my shoulders so much. Yeah. That like it, they weren't just hurting, they were like cramping up and like pinching and like tingling. Like I get a lot of this tingling, like I get that's the same one of the same things I get going on in my foot now is this tingle, like pins and needles, and I don't know what that is, and it scares me. So I stopped rowing as much, and when I switched to the running seems more efficient, if that makes sense. It seems like for the time that's spent and the like burn on like my body or whatever, like the damage I'm doing to myself per mep. The running seemed like the absolute most efficient thing, and especially if you factor in like some mental health to the mix, because like just rowing in that room, even with the television, like sometimes I can't. I'm reading the subtitles and I'm not picking everything up, and that's a bit frustrating in its own way. So I wasn't a fan
I've started thinking in Hank Hill's voice, and I hope it stops soon. I watched all 13 seasons in the last. How long have we been doing this? 13 days?
Yeah.
I like music a lot.
I've torn through it. I haven't listened to music one bit.
Oh, I listen to music, faggy music, of course, because I'm me, on repeat.
A lot of Pink. Yeah.
This Is Me, the Greatest Showman theme song, but not the one by whoever sings it, the one by Kesha. And I just listen to that like repeatedly. It's like I don't know. The lyrics in my head have to do with like, you all tried to hold me down, but here I am. And like that's the core. Oh, I know, right? And Kyle once described my music preferences as like I have my period, but I'm not feeling bad about it, and he's not far off. But yeah, Kesha's "This Is Me." I've probably listened to that like 500, 600 times now.
It's actually not true. I do listen to some music. I listened to about 90 minutes on repeat of the Soviet Union national anthem the other night, and just like imagine like only the victory portion. Yeah, only the victory portion. Like, and I included in there the like, great job, comrades, all that shit, because I like to I imagine myself punching capitalist pigs.
No,
when Stalin's going through picking the next gulag chieftain. I imagine myself biking like, you're gonna be Sergei. You're the one. You're getting it next. You're gonna kill the capitalists and the proletariat.
The way that this like recipe of motivation, there were like 1%, 3% of people that thought I could win, and I took a lot of strength from that. Like a lot. Like there's people out there who like they could have picked any of us, and they picked me.
Spite angle, yeah.
And then the 97% that didn't were also motivating. And Kyle had some trash talk, perhaps just to make the show interesting, but it fueled me anyway. And that's
another hilarious thing.
I fear you wouldn't forgive me if I told you all my thoughts towards you.
That's another thing that like people didn't get is they're like, Kyle's talking so much shit, and it's like you're the same person that like if we talk about Conor McGregor, you'd be like, he's just building up the show and the competition. It's like no shit. Like, you have to have somebody who's talking a lot of shit, like building it up, increasing the competition, making it more interesting.
And I went full Khabib, like, this shit's not a game.
Why is he taking it so personal?
But he's over there like, I've stopped eating pork.
Abe Lincoln beard.
Initially, I had no idea if I could compete with Taylor. Because what's a MEP?
Right.
Like I feel like when
Taylor
I tell
was gonna win too.
When I tell people it's a my zone action point or some shit like effort point. So we don't even know. We got more of them than anyone.
I've got 16,000 and he doesn't know what it stands for.
17.
Yeah. So like I didn't know what a MEP meant. Like I know what if you tell me you're gonna sprint for 30 seconds. I know what that means, but I don't know what a MEP even is.
No computer, but like,
it's a measurement of cardio, right? That's me. Yeah. Like this is a cardio competition. People are mad because we called it a fitness competition, which I could see where they're coming from one, you just get mad at too easily, guys. But like I see the CrossFit competitions where they're like running around cones, doing a dozen pull-ups and whatever, and that is a fitness competition. That's a measure of someone's fitness. This to me was like in my head, like it was measuring my inability to quit. Like that's what this was about.
It was like that force equation, right? Where it's like mass times velocity. It's effort times time. Mm-hmm. And you can that's what it is to get a MEP. It's effort time multiplied by time spent doing said effort. And like I didn't know if I was going to be third. I just knew I wasn't going to be fourth. And if we were on the bubble right now, and I would crawl if I had to not eat that goddamn chip, to not eat that. But I was so afraid of that chip. I knew I'd vomit. I like spicy things, but my definition of spicy isn't what like Spice Head's version of spicy is. Like I like sriracha. Like when I order hot wings, I get them hot, like just hot. I don't get like smoky, dokey Kill Bill version habanero or anything like that. I just get regular.
Remember when what's the hottest wing at Buffalo Wild Wings? The blazing wings. We got some of those when, like, what was it? God, like 7 years ago now when we were in Chicago. Yeah.
I know what happened. What happened was we had a table full of people, and so the strategy for cost purposes, because not everybody had a ton of money, was we just ordered like a basket of every single flavor, because it was that equaled like 150 or 200 wings, and we figured that was much cheaper than each individual person getting a plate. And so like there's these plates of 10 wings like literally circling the table, and everybody takes one or two. And I hadn't eaten all day. I was starving. So I would just grab 2 of every one, and I wasn't making a pile. I was just eating them as they came around quickly. And I downed 2 of the blazing wings like back to back, like they were boneless. And there was a delayed reaction, but it ruined the night. Like I went from being really hungry to having eaten about 4 wings and being not interested in food anymore. I must have drank 4 ice waters or something.
I remember that was annoying to me, because I remember I wasn't good friends with you at the time. And so I was sitting close to you that night, and I was like, and of course, like you were the big head honcho, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm sitting like right next to Kyle. I can get to know him a little better, talk to him. And then like we were passing the wings, and it was like 12 minutes into dinner. We had just started talking, and you ate like a couple of blazing, and like 30 minutes later, like I'd be like, Kyle, never mind. You just as like spit was forming and dripping, like it was so spicy. So that was
awful.
I had no fear of the spicy chip. You, Taylor, and I think Chiz were all like, "Oh my god, this chip!" I'm the only one who hasn't seen videos of people eating it, and I was like, I think I need to keep it that way. My fear was this. So I woke up. The competition started at midnight, and it just so happens that the day before I had a really active day. So I wasn't like, well, I kicked my own ass today. I guess it's time to kick my ass from 12 to 4 a.m. on top. I was like, it's a month-long competition. I wake up in the morning, and I think everyone had kicked ass. Like they had gained what I thought were tons and tons of MEPs. And I'm like, it was a very public embarrassment. Like I was at 0. Kyle was at like, I don't know, 800 or something out after the first night. And it just seemed gigantic. So I start earning MEPs. I start going. I'm like eating my lunch, and I go back at it again and again and again. And that was when my friends told me to cool down on like day 1. They're like, "This is a month-long competition, Woody. They're gonna burn out. They're gonna get injured. Like, play this." And I was like, "But I'm behind." And they're like, "You need to be more strategic." And I guess they were right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wish this hadn't happened. I want to keep going. I do. I went to.
You have actual injuries.
I left the massage.
Extraneous shit that you can't control.
I left the massage thing today, and I was like, maybe it feels a little better. And I like started walking, and it didn't hurt for a step. And I was like, all right, let me just put all my weight.
Yeah, Kyle, there's 10 days left in this month, and you need at least 7 rest days to start working out again. I don't like the way your odds are. You're 3 against my 10.
I don't either. The most annoying part is like I'm having a hard time resting it, because like I don't know if I change the pitch, or is it the yaw?
Yaw.
If I change the yaw at all on my foot, it's it's above an ache but below a sharp pinch. So like driving all day today, I'm on cruise control. I'm driving,
controlling. Yeah.
I'm thumb controlling my car like it's a video game, so that I don't have to engage my foot. And that can get scary when there's traffic.
For what it's worth, that's the pitch. The yaw would be
I know.
pointing your toe from side to side.
On South Park, there's an episode where like Randy has come up with this very complex trigonometry formula for like how to actually measure a man's penis.
Okay.
For when Randy's like, and so you may think specimen Randy's penis is only 4.2 inches, but his corrected penis size is 6.5 inches, which is average. He just stands there like all smug and happy with himself about his dick math.
Yeah, he's like measuring like diameter, circumference,
yaw.
This season, or is that an older one?
It's probably
probably 5 years old.
I heard this season's good.
It's much better than last season.
It's much better than last season.
Yeah, they're ditching the whole. They're keeping like certain little threads that are continuous throughout the whole thing, from what I can tell so far. But they're not doing the nonsense they did the last 2 seasons, which kind of ruined it.
Last one I watched was PC Principal. That's 2 years ago, though, right?
Yeah, that was
but
probably
it
the worst
continued in the
season they've
last
ever
year
made.
as well. PC Principal's a mainstay character now because he replaced the Principal Victoria or whatever her name was.
But it was really about him, and I think Caitlyn Jenner got introduced too.
Yeah.
It's not that funny character. I'd rather watch the boys like get into their rambunctious nonsense.
I'm glad they're adding characters, though. I'm sorry to cut you off. 'Cause I like Tally being high was funny 15 years ago, but I've heard that joke.
I don't even think it was funny then.
Okay.
I was just high.
I'm just high. That
Randy,
and crazy people do when they don't have an idea how to end an episode.
I like that there's some continuity though, because like early on in the season, Randy gets a pot farm. He moves out of the city, and he moves out of the country and gets himself a marijuana grow, and it's called Integrity Farms. And so now, like every episode, like you'll forget that Kyle has to like commute, not Kyle, but Stan has to commute 45 minutes every morning or something to get to school. And so like whenever they go to Stan's house, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Stan's out on a farm in the middle of nowhere now every time they go to visit him. And in the last episode, they do you remember the Man Bear Pig episode, which was basically there to mock Al Gore for his global warming stance?
Yeah, that was a funny episode.
They literally admitted they were wrong about that, and they had Man Bear Pig come back and be a real thing now. And they're like, Mr. Gore, we need you. It was real. He's like, well, maybe if you'd listened to me 5 years ago, something could have been done. But now, Man Bear Pig.
Yeah, I like how he has no interest in Man Bear Pig anymore. They're like, Al Gore, you were right about Man Bear Pig. He's like, I've moved on to other things. Like, but we believe you now. It's too late for you. Man Bear Pig's here, and he's not leaving. I'm cereal. I love I love the Al Gore character on South Park. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good season. I thought Sunny was a pretty meh season, but if you haven't watched Max Dance yet, I thought it was really good.
I haven't watched any of the season other than the first like couple episodes, I think. But I saw on Twitter his dance, and it's like a 4-minute long thing. And I clicked it expecting to watch just a little bit, and I watched the whole thing, partially in like a quasi-gay awe of how ripped Mac is now, where I'm just like, God, I'm jealous. Like, that's inspirational. Wow, good for him. How much fucking ass did he have to bust to get that done? Literally and figuratively for his character. Yeah. Like it's great that he's done that much for himself. And so
he said his diet was awful. Like he was basically defending. I think there are people out there who have said that what he's done is unattainable, and then like muscleheads come back and say, all you got to do is work hard. And he was like, yeah, you just work hard and you hire a personal trainer for 4 hours a day, and you cut out all sugar and all of this and all of that, and you cut your calories by about 600 a day for 6 months, and that's all you do for 6 months is work out and eat very little food. And it's like, yeah, that is virtually unattainable what he's done. At least that kind of changed that amount of time, because he did it like in the off season of a year.
Yeah, I don't like when people see people that jacked or in that good a shape, and they're like, unattainable, whatever. Oh, that woman with her flat stomach and her nice ass that she worked really hard for. Oh, that man with his six-pack. It's like, no, we need to look at these people like models.
It's
like that's something you could be, or you could be closer to that. Like, it should be inspirational.
It's just dawned on me that if the fitness competition ends, I can't take almonds to bed with me and think that it's reasonable behavior anymore.
Just don't tell Jackie it's over, and like do something else in the bike room.
That's a funny bit.
Start a new hobby in there or something. Like you're like gluing airplanes together or something like that. And you've got like a soundtrack of the bike going woo 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 woo, just playing really loud.
Don't come in! I'm too sweaty. The fire alarm might go off. You guys want to call the show?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, PKN 222.